fact I work for many of these businesses. Specifically, Nexstar, they rely on other companies reporting to determine what their viewers want.
Hold on. You gave the example.
Nexstar gets access to the same usage data that everybody else does.
You gave the example earlier, and then I gave the example about the Colin Kaepernick and the whole Black Lives Movement. The NBA, the NFL, and all these private.
Yeah, it was a bad example. Which government pressured that?
Come on, bro. Just
Wait.
Just
on Kaepernick, did the FCC anything about the protest?
Calm down. I'm just
I'm asking you. Did the FCC chair
during the
protest say anything?
The FCC doesn't have exclusive power to force concert.
Hold on, man.
Did the FCC say anything about the Kaepernick protest?
You interrupted me. I want to make my point.
Did the FCC say anything about the Kaepernick protest?
When Pure and everybody was interrupting to give you the time, we all got quiet.
You all interrupted me, especially you, bro.
And now I'm right in the middle of drawing the actual point.
All right, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Tell him to be quiet. Look at the bias. All right, but anyways, so when all these private corporations were adhering to the whole social injustice, you had it in end zones, you had it in basketball courts, you had it all over the place. Were they addressing something that their consumer wanted? Absolutely they were.
Are you asking the question or are you telling me?
No, it was rhetorical. And absolutely they were, just like publications as well. So you were critiquing Donald Trump, or you were criticizing Donald Trump. Donald Trump has won massive settlements through these types of networks because of the way that they run stories on them. I think it was $15 million for ABC, $10 million for Twitter.
Man, it's terrifying. You're like literally a bootlicker. You just say
yeah. Calm down, bro.
What tells you is what you go with.
So you're saying that these the defamatory settlement collect?
Simone, what kind of
how is that relevant to him? What we're saying is who was the body that's dictating the decision that was made? No, you're being ridiculous. They literally told him they were going to pull his license. Donald Trump made the statement that he's going to get his license pulled if they don't get him off the air.
This is that accuracy by volume thing I'm talking about. Smo's going to filibuster and talk over everybody. Anybody get a word in edgewise, and then he's going to claim a W.
You're not going to outlast me. Yeah, you're not going to outlast me.
People shouldn't have to outlast you. Your argument should rely on people.
So let me say one thing. Samoa is making.
Samoa will never land.
Can I land? Predicting what the audience was going to do, and he might be right.
Hey, wait, hold on, real quick, CEO. I asked this gentleman to stick to the timeline. He's the one that was allowed by everybody on stage to go all the way back to Donald Trump.
You went to Colin Kaepernick.
And you've mischaracterized the timeline 3 times.
So you guys got to be quiet. Come on. So
we've got to be quiet. We've got to be quiet. Motor Mouth tells us we got to be quiet.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Smo, you're ridiculous, bro. You're ridiculous, and you know it. Take your L.
Okay, 2 minutes apiece. 2 minutes apiece. 2 minutes on Samoa.
Can we end this final minute?
Final statements, please. Final statements.
All right, thank you. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Pure, you were an advocate for him to be able to speak, to bring up Donald Trump and everything that he wanted to bring up, even though it wasn't germane to the actual topic. So it's only right to be fair. Hold on. Come on. And it's only right that I'm able to address point by point. So if he brings up Donald Trump and his motivations,
you're using your final
bring up something to report.
No, I don't have any problem. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Make your final statement.
Thank you, Pure. Hey, Pure, can you also tell Stilgar to shut the fuck up? All right, good looking out. All right, so back to what I was. When Donald Trump critiques or criticizes, come on, bro. When Donald Trump criticizes works for the way that they cover him, it's been justified from the landslide settlements that he's been able to collect from ABC, CBS, CNN pretty soon, MSNBC, Twitter giving $10 million, right? Because of the things that they're doing on these networks is pretty disgusting. So when he voices, he has a good foundation on why he's saying what he's saying at that point. But still, I'm not going to remove the onus from this gentleman articulate from providing the actual evidence of Brandon Carr threatening Nexstar in some way or fashion to get them to acquiesce to moving Jimmy Kimmel. And this is the crazy part. If Brandon Carr remove him,
30 seconds.
Why would they? Hold on. If Brandon Carr says remove him, why wouldn't they just remove him? Why did they give him a way of staying on air by saying just offer the apology? If he would have offered the apology, he would have still been employed today. He made a conscious decision as a millionaire to say fuck the system, and the system fucked back.
Yeah. Okay.
Take the L, Stilgar.
So the reality is, I actually agree with you that Jimmy Kimmel should say "fuck the system," and there's sometimes consequences for supporting and defending your right to free speech. However, that doesn't change that's not germane to whether or not your free speech was infringed. So yeah, I agree. They told him you need to subjugate yourself or you're going to face consequences. And that's kind of evidence of punitive damages for expressing oneself. The conversation goes, well, did you break law? Was there government pressure? So a lot of right-wing people think cancel culture or censorship is people, citizens, and facets of the culture in a messy democracy saying, I don't like that. That's not censorship. Censorship is when the government pressures people to not use their free speech or to violate their First Amendment rights. This conversation about Colin Kaepernick has very little to do with censorship because there was zero, and I mean this, zero government pressure on the NFL to support George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Black Lives Matter. There was zero pressure from any government authorities on those protests. In fact, the only thing we can see as pressure during that time was individual citizens walking the streets, not watching the NFL, saying boycott the NFL. So the NFL responded to their viewers who were dissatisfied with the way they were treating Colin Kaepernick. And by the way, they still punished Colin Kaepernick, and nothing happened to them because there was no actual authoritative pressure on them. It was just people saying, fuck you. NFL's still suffering from ratings because of that. It was an organic response to their actions. In the case of this situation, the FCC chair is saying he's going to take away people's licenses for doing things that are not infractions on the law. He's saying he's going to punish people for not loving Charlie Kirk. And that is government censorship. You don't have to agree with that. The problem with fascism is there's a lot of dummies and there's a lot of fascists, and you might be one of them. But for American citizens who love their inalienable rights, who love the Bill of Rights, we know what just happened, left and right. It's not often Tucker Carlson agree. Everybody on both sides of the aisle can see that this is censorship. Michael Savage is not somebody I agree with. He thinks this is absolute bullshit. This is censorship. You're just a bootlicking brown shirt fascist. Now bring Concrete up to try to suck my dick on the stage again because he's upset.
Yeah, it was pretty easy, bro. You made a claim.
It's over. It's over. It's our final statements. It goes to the rest of the
Yeah, that was your final statement. You agreed to final statements, Samoa. You agreed to final statements.
Obviously, so now it's popcorn,
right?
Samoa. Absolutely. So now I'm going to be able to speak. So I just wanted to point out.
No, we got to get
what was the statement? CEO, can you read the statement that was said?
Absolutely.
Because we didn't get to hear that.
Yeah, this is from Andrew Alford, Next Star Broadcast.
Do it in a more broadcaster voice.
Okay. Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in interest at the current time, and we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move toward the resumption of a respectful, constructive.
See, this statement was for the suspension.
Back to you, Samoa.
Yeah, this statement right here was for the suspension, not for the actual dismissal, right? Dismissal came.
Government pressure.
Just hold on.
Can I inquire why the government? Can I inquire why the government? Someone is not breaking a law. Yes, I'm inquiring why does the government get to make a statement?
No, that's the CEO. Of the
Did you not see the FGC's comments? Have you not paid attention to any of their comments about this?
What CEO just read was a statement from the private patient.
Let's read the statement from Donald Trump about the licensure. Let me go find that.
You don't want to talk about CEO's broadcasting voice now.
Let me go.
All right, so you asked him to read it. Now that it cut you, you want to run somewhere else? Okay,
no, I'm not running somewhere else. I'm gonna.
People like Samoa will be turning you into the authority when they hear you say something bad about Trump.
All right, cool.
Be careful. We have enemies in the street. Samoa will try to get you paid.
CEO, real quick question.
Go ahead.
This was the statement that was put out after the suspension, right? Like the short-term suspension?
Correct.
All right. What was the reason for his dismissal? Was it this statement here, or was it something different?
Excuse me, can I read a statement now?
After
No, wait, no.
Let me read the headline from
You're
the
never
story.
done. You never had.
So let me.
You've been filibustering this whole time.
Let me tie this in, please. Let me just tie this in. Nexstar, this was the headline of the article headline. Nexstar says it made decision to preempt Jimmy Kimmel unilaterally with no communication with FCC or government agencies.
Okay, excuse me. So, can I finish my statement? I just want to read Donald Trump's statement.
We heard it, Samoa. Let her speak.
Donald Trump's statement.
You want to talk at people, not with them. Grow up. You're a useful idiot.
It's literally 3 sentences.
Donald Trump, you're not going to jump on Samoa. Just because he cooked your vocal doppelganger.
Dr. King, please. Excuse me.
I'm making it known. I want to go after King.
Yes, darling. Donald Trump spoke about the issue to reporters aboard Air Force One on Thursday while returning from a state visit to the UK. I have read someplace that the networks are 97% against me. Again, 97% negative, and yet I won and easily in this year's election, the president said. They gave me only bad publicity and press, and I mean they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. The FCC's chair, Brendan Carr, accused Kimmel of the sickest conduct possible and said firms like the Disney-owned ABC could find ways to change conduct and take action, or there's going to be additional work from the FCC. We're going to continue to hold these broadcasters accountable to the public interest. What violation did he do? He wasn't cursing. He wasn't breaking any FCC rules. He just made a joke.
All right, fine.
He put out misinformation. I said after King.
No,
I made it known. I called it.
CEO, Ashley. CEO was in the middle of talking.
Hands up if you're sick of hearing Samoa.
I was just going to say, I think the strongest point Simone made on this.
Wait, can you just read that
Oh,
statement?
yeah, I'll reread the thing. Okay.
Yeah, please.
So, Nexstar says it made decision to preempt Jimmy Kimmel unilaterally and with no communication with FCC or government agencies.
Damn.
Now, two things. Number one, that doesn't mean that's true, just in fairness.
Hey, man, we got to make their word, right?
I do think, Samoa, your strongest point was that they were predicting their audience reaction.
Absolutely.
And they're probably right. The audience probably would have reacted that way.
What?
Absolutely.
Wait, hold on, CEO.
Wait,
Ashley, hold on, CEO.
Dude, do I not get to make a point? Do I not get to make a point? Can I make a point? No, next. I called next. I did. Yes, I did. I called next. I said after King, and then CEO came in. I was next. I was next.
It's a prediction.
2 hours ago?
But you can't.
No, I called after King. I made it known.
No,
I said after King, and then CEO said it at the same time. I gave in to King.
That's weird.
Odd.
Because you guys are being ridiculous.
Now, Dr. and Samoa have already monopolized the stage. Fine.
Yes, and Ashley said she wanted to talk. Miss Lopez said she wanted to go.
Yeah, like 2 hours ago.
30 minutes.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you go since you did that 2 hours ago. I will.
No, you go right ahead. I
Niggas
just
be loving devil's advocate shit.
Think about it. Take the L, nigga. Go ahead, Lopez.
No, I'm done. I'm fucking done with this club.
Come on, Ms. Lopez. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
And Mrs. Archer.
She had nothing to say why she did that. It wasn't going to Pure, go to Pure. Pure has something to say. Ms. Lopez got
Pure, you be doing the same, Pure.
No, she had something to say. You guys literally just bombarded over her. People get exhausted with this. You guys have been going along for so long. You guys don't even let anybody say anything, and people get fucking tired of that shit. You guys monopolize the room in conversation for fucking hours.
Tell him, Jimmy.
All right,
That's fair.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Ashley, you ready?
Niggers.
Why is the most
Okay, what I have to say isn't going to be popular, and I understand that. But, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel was canceled for misinformation. The same thing can be said, the final straw with Alex Jones getting deplatformed from pretty much every platform, but I didn't hear one person complain. Like, it wasn't a bipartisan issue. We all agreed that he should have been deplatformed because of what he said.
We didn't all agree on that.
And we said that the companies had the right. The companies had the right to make that call. The private companies, the same way ABC has the final call that Jimmy Kimmel is going to be canceled because he's putting out misinformation, because he really did. He was doubling down on the coward on the roof being being like right wing or a whatever you call it, the Fuentes follower person. Like, he doubled down on that. And the same way that Alex Jones put out a lot of misinformation. But I don't hear people fighting for him to be brought back to YouTube, TikTok. He was canceled from X. He was canceled from every social media platform.
So you support Alex Jones being taken down?
No. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because private companies have that right.
Ashley.
I'm after Concrete.
I called after Ashley.
I'm after Concrete.
Actually,
I called after Ashley. I called after Ashley. Thank you. Just be quiet, brother.
Go ahead, Concrete.
Yeah, just be quiet, brother. Thank you. So, it's not misinformation to say the Dems or the Repubs are trying to disassociate or make this guy not one of them. He, in fact, could say the same thing about the other side. He could easily say the libs are doing everything they can to make this guy not one of them. Both of those statements are applicable to this scenario because neither side wants this guy to be one of them. So no, it's not misinformation say that there is a concerted effort by both groups to dissociate or disavow any association between him and them. So unfortunately, Ashley, it is not misinformation, but it's still within the purview of an employee or employer to do that which they will with an employee. So
it says here that no, the decision to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live was made unilaterally by the senior executive team at Nexstar, and they had no communication with the FCC or any government agency prior to making that decision. Implication, if true, this undermines the claim of the pressure of from Brendan Carr or the FCC, because the company is saying it acted on its own without consultation or direction from the FCC.
Of course,
you could argue that the absent communication. It's hard to prove regulatory pressure. Nexstar's denial of the priority deadline in the rep. Outlets report that Nexstar denied that its decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air was due to comments by Chair Bradman Carr. They also said the decision was made unilaterally consistent to Gary Whiteman, which is the quote above. So these cases don't match this fact pattern exactly, but they establish legal constraints and constitutional protection that we can see here. The Supreme Court held that the FCC has the authority to regulate indecent broadcasts, like George Carlin's dirty words, depending on the time of day, but the speech that political commentary or critical monologues is not the same as indecent speech under that law. So the government not broadly censor or force broadcasters to pull political commentary simply because they don't like it. There must be a legal standard like indecency. The First Amendment protects a lot of speech, especially political speech. Okay, then it goes on to say these cases that held carry rules. Okay, and it says are subject to intermediate scrutiny under the First Amendment, but can be valid if they serve a substantial government interest and are narrowly tailored. Okay, so what this shows is that regulator requirements must follow a legal standard and framework. If pressure is exerted outside or beyond legal authority, it could violate constitutional norms.
Wait a minute.
All right, but
you know, did the Biden administration unfairly pressure media outlets in an extrajudicial fashion to control narratives?
Is this about to be a COVID thing?
No.
Are you referring to the White House sending like memos to?
I'm referring to the Biden laptop story. I'm referring to Twitter. Okay. I'm referring to all the pressure that came from the Biden administration to control narratives in an extrajudicial fashion.
on what narratives were they pressuring broadcasters?
The Biden laptop story was one of them. There was a couple of different circumstances. What I'm getting at here is the right leaning.
If they did, I think it should.
Good, I figured you would take that stance. I figured you would take that stance. The position that I'm arguing here is a lot of the right leaning individuals in this room will happily jump on that train and say, yes, that was inappropriate, shouldn't have happened. They lied about it. They colluded. They used government pressure to control the narrative. They made these companies feel that pressure. And Twitter wasn't out here screaming the government's stepping on my neck, because that's not when the government's stepping on your neck. You go, I'm a good boy. I'll play nice. So this idea that it was completely possible for the Biden administration to exact this sort of power, but the Trump administration just never would. That's not possible.
Well, it says that
even for the customers, they were just doing it for the customers, is preposterous.
It says that even if the FCC expressed displeasure, and this alone doesn't legally permit them to coerce content removal, and there must be some breach of law, indecency, or defamation, or regulated act.
When the system
also in the U.S. law, political speech and criticism are highly protected governmental pushbacks.
That's when the government
they must respect constitutional limits.
Yeah, this simply supposes that they aren't willing to act in an extrajudicial fashion, which we already know that. Biden could do it, but Trump would never, right? It's silly.
I just wanted to say.
I hate that I low key sometimes respect Stilgar.
And it was already like audio recording of gold.
Stilgar.
Other than that,
I'll be real quick.
No, Stilgar has he's balanced. He's a balanced.
Stilgar is always American. There's not this guy.
I thought he was Canadian.
The extra quick.
No, that
Brendan
explains
Carr.
Never mind.
Brendan Carr in the interview on Fox.
I am definitely not Canadian. How dare you?
Also stated.
Also, it's from the greatest state in this union.
Wait, can you let Tim speak?
Oh, my fault. I didn't hear you, Tim. My bad.
In that same.
No, I'm in the mate.
Where a lot of these quotes come from. He also said they're looking at the view next. So to act like they're not preemptively going after people is ridiculous. He already stated they're going after specifically the view next. So let's stop pretending like when the president or someone high up says something just because it's not on paper that isn't pressure from them. It is. But
yes.
Like I said, go watch the interview. He already talked about they're going after the view next, so we'll see what happens.
The other part nobody's talking about is like
their argument that he didn't officially put pressure on them, so it's not him like really like dictating something.
No,
this whole thing screams optics to me because we don't even know who wrote that joke. Do we think Jimmy Kimmel was in the writer's room every single day before every single show? So this idea that he goes down as the figurehead of the organization kind of proves to the point that this is more of a symbolic maneuver than it is like actually getting justice for whomever did the social faux pas.
Ultimately, the person
But
with these type of it doesn't matter.
I'd like to get in there at some point.
Yeah, sure. In the same way that Amy Schumer was responsible for joke theft, even if she didn't write the joke theft, I get it. But the fact of the matter is like when this comes down to like this whole thing screams useful idiots to me.
It wasn't like a governmental like interview.
I don't want to have to raise
Very useful idiots.
I know my voice is soft, and these heavier voices usually prevail. But the fact of the matter is, he did deliver the joke. But what the irony is that this is an issue that Charlie died for. And I do not hope for what is it, our Second Amendment rights, but now we're being censored.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. Thank you, love. And I should know better. And I'm not even going to say why because I'm saying now. No, but he died for our First Amendment rights, and now everybody's being censored. And that's the irony of the whole situation.
He died for our First Amendment rights is crazy.
Not really. You know what I mean.
She's using their dumb logic against them. You know, Miss Spear don't think like that. Don't do it like that. We get the point.
Thank you.
The fact of the matter is people who I've heard be vocal about the Biden situation are now in here defending Trump's behavior, and that's the issue. Is if you take the stance of it's bad when they do it and it's okay when we do it, you're an ideologue, you're a puppet, and you've been captured, and I think you deserve to fall off.
And you're a cancer to America.
You actually belong to the reprogramming camp. Samoa belongs in every programming camp. We need mandatory civics in the school because many of you Americans are actually not American at all. You're enemies to the very principles that most of us live off of. Every single one of us benefit from the fact that our ancestors understood their rights and made sacrifices to keep them here for us. And you motherfuckers are in here bootlicking oligarchs in the
mother efforts
and subjecting your own free speech to the will of the government. You are not American. You need to be deported. Actually,
I'm a Chinese.
These people aren't American.
I'm a Japanese.
Doctor, now you're sounding like a fascist with all of this kind of like mandated rhetoric.
Oh, what is
now,
fascism?
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. No, go with it. Describe fascism again. I want to make sure you get it this time.
No. Wait, what do you mean this time? No, fascism is like a regime that has no principles outside of some authoritarian framework from a nationalistic establishment.
And if I have the individual for the power of the state, the individual doesn't.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's fascism. Samoa's a fascist, and so is Ashley. Ashley's a fucking fascist.
Wait, who's a fascist?
I have to agree.
Ashley is a fucking fascist. So is Samoa.
No, unironically, not even just to throw shots. If you're okay with the regime, if you keep providing apologia for like some of these things that we're seeing, you're just a fascist. And it's not like it's not hyperbole. It's not like, libs being all different. Like you're actually.
This is what happened in 1935 Germany.
You're fascist.
And a lot of these.
Did you have that attitude during COVID?
Yes.
Like I will bring up COVID.
Yes.
Did you have that attitude during COVID?
Yes, I did. I'm not like you.
The Twitter files.
Actually, yes.
Yes, when the government is suppressing
your COVID vaccine.
That's always bad. It's bad when Obama does it. It's bad when
Obama's a war criminal.
It's bad when anyone does it.
And the problem
he is a war criminal.
He is a fucking war criminal. He's horrible.
What's happening right now? What just happened to Jimmy Kimmel is minute. This is unprecedented government overreach.
Yes, doctor. Yes. Yep.
Like, so you keep bringing up lesser versions of the thing, which we also don't support. Many of us in here did not feel we needed to mandate COVID vaccines for dummy yokels in shithole podunk towns.
Oh, I'm not talking about the vaccines. I'm not talking vaccines. I'm talking about the suppression of things on Twitter and all of that.
You would have to
suppression.
What do you think is happening right now? That's why we're talking about.
I don't understand your point. Many liberals, literally, because the Biden administration hit it, when we found out they're pressuring Twitter to censor certain individuals, we didn't go, you should censor them from the government.
Hold on. Ashley, I have a question. Ashley, what amount, if you can prove 100% of Dr. Articulate's hypocrisy, if there is any to be proven, justifies your own?
Sorry, I'm also in the middle of grocery shopping.
What do you for asking?
Can you repeat that?
The question is if you are 100% certain that Dr. Articulate is being hypocritical about his stance, and he's saying that this Jimmy Kimmel thing is wrong, but any COVID misinformation was okay, whatever the case might be, nothing about his stance on this matter should change your stance on the matter. The fact of the matter is this should come from internal principles, and if you believe in fairness and justice and freedom and the First Amendment of the Constitution, what's happening to Jimmy Kimmel should not be happening, and you should feel that way regardless as to how you prove Dr. Articulate feels about it. This presumes that there are internal
I will stand with you if you can prove that the government had a hand in it. If you can actually prove it.
We already did. The president, your executive. This already happened. The president of the United States said they should lose licenses. The president of the United States, upon winning the election, said Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert need to be removed from television. And then his self-appointed FCC chair co-signed this by making multiple public statements saying he would go after people who said anything he didn't like about Charlie Kirk, and then people who are subject to their own authority therefore followed those public statements and punished Jimmy Kimmel for making a throwaway joke about Charlie Kirk.
And the affiliates in the ABC therefore dropped him. Yep, that's what
Did he make any moves to do so, or was he sharing an opinion, and can you prove it?
Ashley, what are you talking about?
I mean, other than the president saying they should, did he make any legal moves in order to do it?
Are you kidding? Did you listen to anything I said, Ashley? You can't waste your time with not.
You're downplaying the weight of what he said, Ashley. I don't understand how you could do that.
We can't do this, but the CEO, seriously, as American citizens, we can't do what we've done for the past 5 years and be clenching our fists and raking our brains to convince fascists what the country is about. Ashley doesn't want America. She doesn't like this country. She doesn't want it to be an American country anymore. We have to treat her like an enemy. We don't have to debate her. She doesn't want to be living in a democracy. Neither does Samoa. So we as Americans who want a democracy have to build with each other. Ashley has stated what the country she wants to live in: an asymmetrical, authoritative government that that punishes people for their individuality and diverse
Rooms are recorded because I will be reminding people. I will be reminding people when it's the other side. I will be reminding people of this very argument.
We've had 10 years of
I will be.
We've had 10 years of
You're not American.
There is a re-education that
she's a mouse day Karen. This isn't education. This isn't how you educate people. Education requires a willingness to learn. She is a mouse day Karen. She doesn't want to learn. The problem with fascism is it wins by exhausting people and making them feel gaslit on things they know to be true. It uses sarcasm and jokes where they say outlandish things and then they rely on our sensibility to be like, nah, they didn't really mean that. She means this shit. She's a fucking fascist.
That's facts.
Okay, I'll remember this when it's your side. When it's back to being our side getting canceled.
Yes,
for things and private companies dismissing people. I'll remember this. I'll remember it.
Wait, Ashley, do you think it was okay?
Well, let's hold on, guys, real quick. Guys, 1 second, real quick. Let's be adults here, listener. If the government placed 2 kilos of cocaine on your doorstep.
If I was a 20-year-old man, I'm talking.
No, stop, man. Stop adding variables to this shit. I'm asking you right now, listener. This is what I'm talking about, man. You guys can't be fucking honest. If the CIA right now were to put 2 kilos of crack cocaine on your doorstep, would you reject it or would you accept it?
Get that crack cocaine. I would fucking bag that shit up and I would get that cash. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, let's buy what he's selling. So listener, if that's the case, who's responsible for that outcome?
Fucking CIA that dumped the crack on my door.
No, it's not exactly. You have a choice. Listen, no. This is the stupid shit about it. Listen, we got you, baby. We got you. Listen. That's the difference between me and you and a lot of us. If they did that shit, I think it's probably. I'm not going to sit here and play the game that I'm going to be complicit in destroying my community because somebody else wants to. That's stupid as fuck.
I mean, it's a fallacy of low expectations. So listener, at least he is consistent, right? So what he just illustrated is that he has no agency. He does whatever the environment tells him to do. He doesn't fight it. He doesn't have any core values that he's sustaining or trying to sustain in his community. He does whatever comes his way. Now, if there are a lot of people who do that, that's fair. Right, but there are also people who don't want to do it. And those people who don't want to do it, they get the hell out of that environment. They change their environment. If they cannot do it locally, they move out. They change their geography. But there are people with agencies. I mean, that might be news to you, listener, but there are people with agency out.
Yeah, I guess I just want to say, Thank
you. What's your name? Andre. Thank you very much.
I think what he said was interesting.
Yeah, so again, listener, the point is that we acknowledge the fact that the government, and it's government, man, government's rarely ever going to work in the best interest of the people that it serves. Okay, so we understand that. We acknowledge, yes, the government was implicit as far as delivering. But again, all they did was drop it off. And people still had to make a decision and made a choice. And those people made a bad decision. And that led to the outcome of what we see today with these dilapidated inner cities. So again, it all comes down to decision. And when we sit up here and try to run and spin this narrative that, make it seem like, oh, the government came with needles and just jabbed them in everybody's fucking arm and injected the shit, that'd be a different story. At that point, yeah, you didn't have a choice because someone came and injected drugs into your system and made you a fucking addict. But all they did was drop the fucking drugs off, and it was black people that decided to say, you know what? We're going to take these drugs and we're going to sell them to our own people and destroy our own communities, bro. There's got to be some level of accountability and responsibility taken on black folks' part.
Yeah, let me highlight this too, Sig. This is, and when he said it, when Snurk said he would sell it and bag it up, other people came off mic like celebrating it. This goes into play with the idea that blacks sold blacks into slavery and blacks keep selling each other out, but somehow it's the coons, the black conservatives, that's the sellouts, not the ones who actually intentionally. Now keep in mind, they know the scenario was given to them that the CIA is giving you something that's going to destroy your community, and he actively said they're going to comply with it. They not even mistakenly like, oh, I didn't know the effects. No, they know the effects, and they're still going to do it. And we so-called coons wouldn't do that. Imagine that. Look, this is a case study right in front of you in full display. These fucking people are nuts, and they hate black people more than they think we do. And they're actually saying that if they had the power to destroy us, they would.
I thought about it. I thought about it more in terms of like, just like incentives. Like, if you place, people do have agency, but people are always subject to economic incentives. And so it was interesting because that is basically, you think about the current opioid epidemic that we've been going through. So who are the people that were responsible for helping to distribute opioids to people? Like running pill mills and stuff like that. They were like doctors. They were respectable, upstanding citizens who basically succumb to economic incentives. And so it makes it clearer to me that he presented it in that way that was very straightforward. It's consistent, and you can apply the same model to other people. Why would people distribute these substances to people when they know that they're addictive, and because they can get money from it, because they can increase their status or their material returns? So I don't know. It seems.
Frank, you're absolutely right.
Real quick. The opioid thing is very disanalysis, and here's why. And I'm not covering for the medical industry that did the fuck shit. The reason why, because opioids are prescribed to you by a doctor to treat pain, right? And a byproduct of that is the side effect is an addiction to the medicine, right? So that's why they're liable, the government it is, for over-administering, for not monitoring the shit correctly, whatever liability they have. So it's totally different because they did it the right way with those particular side effects. Cocaine is not in the same box. So they never prescribed cocaine. They did something illegally, and they should be accountable for it, and we should not.
I don't agree that people should be held accountable for their actions when they're distributing substances which we consider to be illegal. I'm just saying that doctors, you can probably look it up. I'm pretty sure they had like pill mills where doctors were getting kickbacks. There was all kind of schemes for, and of course the doctors were aware of what they were doing. So yeah, these are upstanding citizens who are the polar opposite of the people who you consider to be downtrodden or ghetto friends.
That's the mistake in your analysis. They're not upstanding citizens. They're just in a different class of people. That's all it is. But if you dig into every story of people using their authority in order to put people on pills, there's going to be either a gambling addiction. There's going to be either some blackmailing scheme. They have, a divorce that they don't want to, take a big hit for. So they need an extra line of income. These are not upstanding people. These are, and where I do agree with you is that the circumstances, right, the environment allows people to adapt to the path of least resistance. That's absolutely true. But any community, anywhere in the world, in any point in time. But it's also, it's people with agency. It's our responsibility to make sure that the way we press on the government is that it directs its forces to guard people against those type of behaviors rather than encourage them. So, for example, crack pandemic, right? As soon as you understand what's happening, it's your responsibility, if you are, a conscientious individual with some sort of basic moral values, to put as much pressure as you can on the government so this fuck shit never happens again, and it remedies its consequences. You know, because the government is one of the only entities that's in this whole equation that doesn't suffer the direct consequences of its actions. All it does is, you know, just gets the next cycle of voters, and that's it.
I don't know if it doesn't necessarily suffer. I mean, got to have tax dollars, voting populace. And again, one of the beauties of our system, at least in America, is that it is predicated on an election turnout. And so as much as people say contrived things, if you are kind of shitty and you back the shitty shit, you can be redistricted, you can be redrawn, and you can be voted out. So there's many ways that it's very difficult to stay into power if you're really just kind of on that one, Andre. I would say there's something of a check there, and at least that hasn't been abridged too. Like, it's been abridged, but it has not like been sealed off, so the people can decide. Like, take in case of Kamala Harris, you know, they didn't like how she got on the border. That was it. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Like the example that I always my mind goes to is DC. You know, the mayor who was caught live, you know, doing crack cocaine with a prostitute in the hotel, and I think it was several times. Several times that it happened. Yet he created the environment for his constituents that they benefited from. And so they kept re-electing him, no matter how shitty he was and how detrimental he was to the community, because he gave them path of least resistance. So I think, you know, there's definitely checks and balances. They just need to be reinforced in a more, more what's the word I'm looking for? In more direct manner. Like we need to be more intentional about it.
And I just want to say, like, people do know that the U.S. government didn't figure out a way to make crack. And I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories, and drop it off in a neighborhood and said, you know, free, pick me up on pallets, and laid out crack pipes and lighters. I think, like, right, crack is smoked through a crack pipe, right? With a lighter, you need a lighter to, like, light it, whatever. So, like,
yeah, you have to rock it first and cut it with something. Yeah.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Local drug dealer speak up. Yes, I know.
Now we know who's responsible for it, right? It's the Hispanics. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, there was one article. If you actually go back and research where this claim came from, you realize it comes from one reporter with the LA Times. Like, it literally comes from a single source. You can trace this back. It's one little reporter who then turns around and retracts it because he was trying to give another fucking thing. People didn't even bother to read the whole article to see what was the substance of his point. He was just kind of going off, and then researched the guy who was at the time taking lithium. I mean, you gotta put checks and balances. And not saying that the government hasn't done a lot of fucked up shit. It's just some conspiracies are just made up. And this LA reporter did that. And I think it's there. Like, crack came out of fucking Florida. You can actually trace it. It was invented by the Colombians. I hate to tell you this. Like, it was those bastards. Get mad at them. They immigrated here. They figured out a quick, easy way to do it. And they were doing it on the street in Florida. And then it migrated over across the country.
Well, would you like the CIA to introduce crack to your community? Do you think that would be good?
See how they, everyone's community. What are you talking about?
Would you like?
So let me start somebody to listener.
No. Let me sell you. You know, just give your teenagers a huge amount of crack cocaine.
So they did. So let's help you understand. Cocaine Cowboys. Let's start. You ever heard of Cocaine Cowboys? Yeah. Cocaine, right. Okay, so those white boys doing it. Yeah. It's not just them. Colombians, Hispanics, everybody did it. Right. Everybody sold it. Everybody did it. Right. It affected our community really bad because unfortunately, and again, it affected a lot of communities bad, but unfortunately, our community glorified this shit. We still do it today. We celebrate our drug lords. Freeway Ricky Ross, who else? Frank Lucas. Bumpy Johnson, the list goes on. And I'm not saying those are particularly Italian communities. Some of those did too, idolizing the mafia. But the long-term detrimental effects for our community was far worse because instead of us turning around or being selective how we did it, we pretty much did it wrong. And I'm going to say this, and I know it sounds fucked up. You ever seen The Wire? It's a TV show called The Wire, best show ever. I promise you, it's the best show ever. One scene that stuck out to me, the guy said, hey, everybody sells drugs. We go to all communities and arrest them, and we pretty much leave most people alone because the shit is going to keep happening. It's high recidivism. He said, but the issue is we have to deal with the blacks because you guys have bodies show up, and we got to answer for the fucking bodies. So he's saying that all the prostitution and theft and all the other shit that comes along with it is probably passive compared to the fucking murder that come with it. And he said we have to respond to that because the public need an answer. So that's why it looks worse in our communities because every community suffer the same thing, but ours tend to be worse when it comes to murder and crime and all the other shit that piles on top.
Yeah, that's cool. I understand. So you would be fine with having crack introduced to your community personally because you heard shit I said. That's what I'm saying.
You heard shit I said. No, that's a no. I don't want crack in the communities at all. Period. I don't want any hazardous drugs. And I'm a libertarian. I'm free. I'm open with people to having a choice to do it. I prefer people not to do it. I prefer people to take care of themselves and be healthy. And drugs don't get you there.
Yeah, but it's not something that a government that's working in the best interest of those people would do, is it? You know what I mean?
That's the whole point. We realize and recognize, listener, that the government is never going to work. This is why we have a constitution, listener, because our founding fathers realized governments aren't in favor of the people that they serve. They're going to try to overtake and use and abuse the citizens that create and keep their country running. So this is why we got the Constitution. So government being on your side, it's never going to work. And the only way it's going to work, there's only one way it works, is when the people have arms and the people are educated on every single aspect of how their government's performing, and they take action to keep their government in lock and step with how they want it to be ran. So that's the only way we'll start. But real quick, guys, I got one more clip I wanted to play because it's on the lines of what we're talking about as far as how black folks think. And changing black folks thinking. So I got the link up top, and I'm going to play the clip really quick. It's just a 1-minute clip, guys. Here we go.
And become intellectually independent enough. When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it. No federal court, state court, or city court will bring an end to it. It's something that the black man has to bring an end to himself.
So if you listen to what he said closely, again, and this goes in direct contradiction with modern blacks that support the Democratic and liberal agenda. He said you can't go to any state court. You can't go to any city court. Again, he's saying the government's not going to be able to fucking help you. And what do these modern liberal blacks, what's the number one thing that they're invoking more of is more fucking government, more legislation, more acts. Again, it goes in direct fucking opposition of what Malcolm X fucking preaches. It's a mentality thing. So when you stop aborting your fucking babies, when you start marrying the women that you fucking procreate with, when you start taking education, when you start paramounting education, and I'm talking real education, not this bullshit fucking boss babe, boss bitch fucking bullshit modern education. We're talking about real actual education, which is financial literacy, right? Which is community literacy, which is investing and thinking long term for not only your future, but the future of your offspring and their offspring. That's the mentality he's talking about. Again, more government, begging, whining, crying for the government to do what they're supposed to do, or back in the 60s, it was white folks doing what they're supposed to do. Expecting them to come and play Captain Save-A-Hole for your community that you're responsible for, it's never going to fucking work. And what he says is true to this day. It's what we're seeing to this day. Again, the same arguments and same criticisms and same complaints that blacks had 60, 70 plus years ago, they still have them to this day. And they've been putting all their eggs into the government, into the Democratic Party, which promotes more government and more legislation. And we see that nothing has fucking changed. Nothing has gotten better according to the blacks. They're still facing the same fucking problems that they faced back then. So what fucking gives? What gives?
I'm actually curious.
It seems like the coons got it figured out. Because the coons are going exactly with what Malcolm X says, is minimize government, get the government out of our fucking lives, let us do what the fuck we need to do to get our people thinking right, to be more community oriented for the black community. Malcolm X wasn't talking about, go back to Africa. He wasn't. Malcolm X was firmly believed in being a black American and taking place in American culture. He wasn't Marcus Garvey. So he believed in staying here in America, and blacks can actually live a life in America based on the things that he prescribed and that he talked about.
I think I'm somewhat confused because I'm not sure if the things that you're talking about, like single parent, I'm curious about the number of single parent households in the black community in the 1960s, as well as like the amount of drug use. As far as I know, most of the people that I know who were born in the 1960s and earlier had two family households, unless like someone died because of war or because of, I don't think that the single parent households were like or were how do you call this, outside of the norm? I mean, were like a normal thing in the 1960s. And I'm also curious about abortion numbers for black people. I do know that there were only 4 black representatives in Congress. There were no black in the House of Representatives, and no black senators at that time. I looked it up, but I'm curious about like how prevalent these issues that you're bringing up, I guess, that are representing modern times were in the time of Malcolm X.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. So as far as the degeneracy rates, they were much lower back then, much lower. But with the introduction of heroin, and this is coming from the Vietnam War, that's really where the drugs became a really big issue, was the drugs that were being consumed over in Vietnam and these other countries were now being brought to the United States. That's why Nixon in that era started, he was the official starter, spearheaded the war on drugs. Tons of things happened in the black community to accelerate the degeneracy. White flight took place, but again, there's a lie being told about white flight. If you let these people tell it, it was, white folks didn't like black folks, so they moved away from the inner cities where blacks did, move to the suburbs and set up shop for their own communities and left blacks just kind of hanging with the cobwebs and the dust in the corner of the cellar. That's not true. Tons of riots. In fact, Detroit's one of the examples that black folks started riots during the racial era, the same thing they're doing today, burning down and destroying their own neighborhoods, which a ton of whites lived in. And the whites were like, you Negroes are too fucking violent. You're burning everything down. You're destroying every fucking thing. That's what accelerated them to move to the suburbs. So there was a trigger there. They were destroying businesses, and the bulk of the white people own those businesses in the city of Detroit, and they said, you're busting our windows, you're looting, you're stealing, you're rioting. We can't set up shop here. So they had to move out, and that was the catalyst of the white flight, especially from fucking Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know the Detroit example. I don't think this is